Everyone. Welcome to Wonder Woman. This is a podcast regarding women entrepreneurs that are doing something for a community, for their community, or opening a foundation, or working for a foundation. And today I have a wonderful lady that I know for a while, Heather Utset. Welcome to my Wonder Woman show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
She's from Friendship Circle. And you have so much knowledge regarding foundations, and you've done so much for your community. You've worked for 2 foundations.
Thank you. Yes.
Very impressive. And we met a while back ago. Our children went to elementary school, and now they're big and grown up and doing their own thing.
Yes, they are.
And I just want you to share a little bit how you started. What did you study?
Sure.
To be in part of this community, this type of work.
So it's funny. I actually didn't start off with this being the focus of where I wanted to take my career.
Mm-hmm.
My background's actually in education, in special education. Yeah. So I grew up here in Miami. I moved to Georgia with my husband. Mm-hmm. We lived there for 7 years. And while I was there, I was a principal at a private school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I started teaching Georgia pre-K, kind of worked up my way up to be the principal of the school. Wow. And I enjoyed it, but I was young, when I was up there doing that. So when we moved back to Miami, we had kids, got married, etc.
Are you from Miami?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Originally from Miami. So we had our children up in Georgia, mm-hmm. and all of our families here in Miami. So we ended up coming back to Miami. Back then, people used to say, "I can't believe you came back. Everyone leaves and nobody comes back." But we came back, and when I returned to Miami, I really didn't want to go back into doing what I was doing in Georgia. I loved the education piece of it, but was looking for something a little different. So because I enjoy being in the office, but I also very much enjoy just with my personality being out in the community, getting to meet people. So I started working in supplemental educational services, which was through Title I, through No Child Left Behind.
Oh, okay.
And I was a provider for the Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County schools.
Okay.
So in that, I was out in the community, building relationships. And everything kind of started changing with the SES world and No Child Left Behind. Mm-hmm. So I was looking for another opportunity that still allowed me to kind of do both jobs, because I loved the SES job that I had, but wanted something a little different, like in the community. So I saw the American Cancer Society was hiring in 2010. And I said, oh, well, it's a community development manager. Never had worked in nonprofits before, but I feel like that genuine kind of ability to go out and build relationships and steward them. So I applied to the position, and they gave it to me immediately. And that's how I started a nonprofit.
Wow.
I used to tell them I've never fundraised $1 in my life. But they're
that's
like,
a world.
Yeah.
That's a new world.
That it is. But they're like, the personality to do it. So I said, okay. So I tried. I was very successful working for the American Cancer Society. I ran Relay for Life events.
Oh, wow.
Throughout Miami-Dade County. And
I remember you also did a gala, right?
I was part of the gala committees, yes, that we had for ACS also. My main focus, though, was working with the community. So I ended up meeting hundreds of amazing volunteers that most of them became my friends. I still communicate and keep in contact with them. So from there, I met Rabbi Harlig and Nakama Harlig. They own the Friendship Circle. They're the executive directors.
I recently met him. The Miller family had an event here at the community newspaper.
Yes.
And he was here and he spoke regarding autism and how it all started.
Yeah.
So you met him through...
I met him, and he was looking for somebody to join his team. First time he had ever hired anyone to work out in the community. Well, no, they had already been, the Friendship Circle's been around for 21 years.
Okay.
So they had already established, kind of like a very strong community base, but they were looking for somebody to come in that could help grow, outside of just the local South Dade area. So I made the decision to move over from the American Cancer Society and work for Friendship Circle. Okay. I stayed there for about 1.5 years, and I helped them grow their walk. I helped them build relationships with schools, like the local schools with special needs.
Isn't it incredible that our kids were in Blue Lakes Elementary and there was a community of
Yeah.
special need kids.
They were just starting.
They were just
starting back then. That's when Fiddlers was it's kind of attached, to the Blue Lakes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And look where you are now.
Yeah. I used to go to Fiddlers. I used to drop off the kids at Blue Lakes and then go to Fiddlers to say hello. Like that was part of what I did for Friendship Circle.
Wow.
So I stayed there, like I said, for a couple years. And then the American Cancer Society had an opportunity for me to return. And I became an associate director, basically, for Southeast Florida American Cancer Society. So I worked with the team of community development managers, like the position that I had. Mm-hmm. I became their manager, basically.
Wow.
So I had a team of 8, and I loved it. I did it for, in total, the American Cancer Society for almost 13 years.
Wow.
So very successful. We made it through COVID.
I know you did.
We made it through. They used to joke around. I used to wake up in the morning and call my team and say, I had a dream. We should try this.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
awesome.
Literally. And innovation is like in my blood. So my dad used
angels.
My dad used to tell me, adopt, improvise, and overcome. That was his little
adopt, improvise, and overcome.
So that's kind of like what led me, to this. And we were very successful. So did that. And then the entire time I stayed in contact with Rabbi Harlick and his wife Nakama. And I celebrated all the successes that they were having at Friendship Circle because truly my heart was there. The organization is amazing. What we do in the community is amazing. So when the opportunity, came up, he and I spoke and he's like, look, I'd love to bring you back. And I said, okay. So
I'll be back.
It'll be 2 years on May 1st that I went back to Friendship Circle. So that's the joke. Full circle.
Full circle.
Back to Friendship Circle. And that's where I've been, so far. So we are in a very big growing phase right now.
I heard.
Yes.
You are building or almost.
We are done.
Almost done, right?
Yeah, we are done. We are, Friendship Circle themselves, as an organization, we work with individuals with special needs. So we have children, teens, and adults now, a very robust adult program. And what's unique about what we do is we connect, we bring in teenage volunteers and now adult volunteers.
You mentioned that in the
match them. Yeah, we match them together.
Yeah.
And together they build a beautiful friendship, very genuine friendship that extends even past our volunteers. For example, our teenage volunteers graduate, high school, and the friendships that they create extend past even them, leaving the quote unquote program. So it's been a beautiful thing. When I came back, I was amazed to see that a lot of the children that we had when I was there in 2012 are adults, and they're still in the program.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's what ended up having us.
And it's a safe haven.
Yes, and it's for the families and everything.
For the family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He says they're not looked upon in a different way. They feel like they're home. They're themselves because they have that. They feel protected, understood.
Yeah.
Which is great because we learned while our children were in Blue Lakes that there are certain things that go on and we need to be understanding and know the process of how to go through that, right? Yeah. And every child is different.
Yeah.
So he specifically said how wonderful it was, how everybody works together and how it's a safe haven for everybody, and how they when they leave home, there have been so many beautiful stories of people that have bumped into a situation in a restaurant, and one of the volunteers knows how to approach or help that child or that adult with what they're going, or that parent, to a matter of fact, because he even spoke about the parents.
Yeah, it's a circle. Those are all the components of the circle that we have. It's the individual with special needs, their families and their supporters, and then we also have our volunteers, and then all of our community partners.
And how can you volunteer for? What's the process?
So basically reach out. I mean, volunteering is something we do not have a problem finding.
Good.
Yeah, because it's definitely shared word of mouth. What's unique is that when our teenagers come in, this isn't a program where sometimes teenagers come in and they just need a couple of hours to graduate. We all know that, they need hours to graduate. But with our volunteers, that's not what happens. They come in, they make a full commitment. We actually do an intake with them, like a mini interview.
Okay.
And we also include their parents. because
really?
it's important, for the teenage volunteers'
And that,
parents
right?
to understand, the commitment that we're asking for also. So a lot of the volunteers start off in 7th grade. They can start whenever they'd like, but they do come in as early as 7th grade.
Wow,
And
that's wonderful.
we do orientation with them. We do 2 different volunteer programs with them where we bring in therapists. We teach them, about special needs. And like Rabbi was sharing with you, a lot of the volunteers, they even go off and they go into different fields that regard and involve special needs, the
That's
world.
great.
So it's that inclusion, acceptance, and piece that we're also promoting not only within Friendship Circle, but in the community also.
Wow. And I know. So talk to me about the building. How was this process?
Yes. So
I know he's very proud of his building.
Yes, and should be.
Yes,
It's
of course.
literally the only
Hard work.
It is the only community center in Miami-Dade County that is made for special needs.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's called the Friendship Campus. And it's when I was first with Friendship Circle back in 2012, it was the dream, right? To have this campus. We were operating in basically a 2,000 square foot house on the corner. And we had, at that time, over 100 families that were working with us. And we had, I think, maybe 20, 25 programs at that time. And we would literally cross our fingers because when we would be running programs, we had to run them outside, like in the backyard kind of concept, and pray it wasn't going to rain or, whatever. So they started the process right when I was leaving Friendship Circle. They started the process of just having the discussion about building this campus, about building this community center that was so needed in Miami-Dade County. And over the years, as I shared, I stayed close with them. I celebrated all their successes. And about 3 years ago, they broke ground. And they started building the Friendship Campus. And now we have a beautiful 20,000 square foot building, 2 buildings actually, of innovation. And like I said, it's the only special needs community center in Miami-Dade County. So we have programs and classrooms that are set up, just for that community.
Wow.
And so we literally started March 31st. We officially moved on. Thank you. And we had our first programs. Our art and our movement programs were our first programs that were held.
I know there's going to be a lot of programs.
Yes,
to help.
We have over 25 now.
Okay,
and we're still growing them.
Yes, I just recently learned that there's one regarding food or a kitchen.
Correct. Yes. Wow. Rabbi Harlick did his job.
He did his job. I really listened.
You did,
and he's doing so much.
You know what I love? The fact that he did tell you everything and you just kind of met him in passing, but you remembered.
Yes.
And that's what I feel is so impressive, with what the work that we do. Like, that's the impact that we're making in the community.
Well, they're getting a voice.
Yes.
Finally. Yeah. And he started that voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have to be grateful to him for looking at the parents, at these children, what they're going through. And he gave them a voice, a place to go. I mean, that is admirable.
Yeah.
Something called him, and which I imagine was God, and led him there. And little bit by little bit, it's growing, which is so much needed.
Yes, it is. We have, so what was very unique also when we were building the campus is we continued to fund our programs. So in the nonprofit sector, it's obviously, we work off donations.
Of course.
So it was very special and unique in the fact that sometimes when a nonprofit sits back and they say, okay, we're going to build this campus, for example, this building, this house that we're going to have, one of the two suffer. Either the program suffers or the actual building campaign suffers. We've been very, very lucky in the fact that we have such strong supporters and believers in our mission, all the way from the state to the county to local philanthropists, that neither suffered. So our programs continue to be funded. Our programs continue to grow. And at the same time, we were able to still fund and raise money for the campus.
Wow.
So like I shared, March 31st was our official day there. On the campus, we also have, there's actually 3 organizations that run on the Friendship Campus.
Okay.
Friendship Circle being one of them,
Right.
Mitzvah Kitchen being the newest one.
Okay, I heard.
And the Chabad of Kendall and Pinecrest is also another organization that works on the campus. So all 3 separate, but partnering at the same time, you know?
Of course.
So the Mitzvah Kitchen, as Rabbi was talking about, we opened up that organization. We are basically answering the need of food insecurity through Miami-Dade County. So we have committed by the end of June to provide 2,500 meals.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're kosher meals. So it's another piece that, you know,
Very
of the
important.
community that is being positively impacted is there's people that have food insecurities that are, you know, have kosher diets.
Correct.
So because the fact that Mitzvah Kitchen is a kosher kitchen, we are able to meet the true food insecurities of so many individuals, not just a handful. Yeah. So we are in the midst of doing that. We Friendship Circle has partnered with the Mitzvah Kitchen, and we are starting the inaugural adult culinary food program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, begins in April 28th is the first class. Wow. And that's 15 individuals, adults that have special needs that are going to go through this program, graduate, and then receive a certificate at the end.
Wow.
And that's a partnership with Mitzvah Kitchen that Friendship Circle is doing.
That is amazing. Purpose, right?
Yeah.
Giving them purpose, feeling agile, like I could do this, and support, you know, that's amazing. What other programs do you have?
So within the Friendship Circle, we have, the way our programs work is they're social and recreational. So we have art, music and movement, dance, karate, equestrian, swimming, drama, you name it, we probably have it at this point. And we're still, and now we're starting our cooking circle in a partnership with Mitzvah Kitchen. So besides just the adult culinary program, we also have cooking circle for children and adults. That's going to be part of our programs. So those run Monday through Thursday after school, and then every other Sunday for Sunday Circle.
Wow.
And the purpose of our programs is not just to provide these social and recreational opportunities, you know, for individuals that might not be able to participate in those type of activities, but we also create the relationship, you know, with our volunteers that come in. That's why our volunteers stay, because they're doing things they like to do too.
Of course.
So if I'm a teenager and I like to do art, I'm going to volunteer in the Art Circle program. So that keeps me interested and engaged and, you know, attending to. And then within that, as I shared, we had a lot of the children that when Friendship Circle first started have now grown up.
Right.
So a year ago, we pivoted and we created a very robust adult program. So in addition to all of the circles that we had for children and teens, we also now have them for adults.
Wow.
So we have an adult social circle.
Super.
Things that people take for granted, you know, like going out with your friends and going bowling.
Yes.
A lot of the families that come to us, they share that their biggest concern is that while they have amazing therapies and, you know, they have the great support for their children being children, teens, or adults, you know, what they're lacking is friendship. Of course. And what they're lacking is that social interaction. So
the parents are older too.
Circle, and through Friendship Circle, that's what we offer.
Wow.
And we do it genuinely. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, this isn't
I have to go.
Yes.
You have to invite me one day. And so
I would love to. Yeah. The campus is just, I mean, it's beautiful. But now we have the vessel, if you want to say, to impact more families and to, you know, so we have had over the past weeks, dozens of families reach out to us that now want to come, you know, because we have the ability to offer, you know, more opportunities for that.
So what events you have coming up? I know you just previously had one.
Yes, we have our annual. So in the fundraising world, you have to make sure you're diversifying your income, and so you can't just you know, support yourself on grants only. So and community support and interaction happens the easiest way by doing events and involving the community. So we have an annual walking for friendship that we do every March.
I saw that. It was very successful.
It is very successful, always growing. And this year we were able to take it back to the campus. It's been off campus, you know, because we were in the middle of building. Right. So this was the first year to have it back on the campus.
Oh, that must have been beautiful.
It was.
Because it's an interaction of what the walk meant, you know, and
absolutely.
You see the actual result.
Yes, yes. And we were, it was very successful. So we had the walk in March, and now we have our next big event, which is the 305 Autism Awareness Ride.
Which this month is
it is.
Autism Awareness Month.
Yeah,
yes.
This is Autism Awareness Month. We have the ride scheduled on April 27th, which is the last Sunday of the month.
Okay.
And the ride is very unique. I actually started this idea of uniting the motorcycle, Jeeps, slingshots, and custom cars and trucks.
Wow.
Together. Yeah. I had this dream back about 8-9 years ago, I think at that time, I was actually driving back from Key West from running Relay for Life there. And as I was driving up north on the stretch, I see all these motorcycles coming south. And I'm like,
good idea.
Why are we not doing this?
I remember when I was really young, there was like a toy drive going to Key West, and everybody would put their toys on their motorcycles and drop them off at Key West or something like that.
Yeah, there were lots of toy drives. Yeah. So I saw this happening and I thought, why are we not doing this? So I got a team member of mine with the American Cancer Society at the time. And I said, let's figure out how to make this happen. So we did.
You did.
And I started the Ride for Life back then with the American Cancer Society. We did it on National Cancer Survivor Day every year. And then being still connected with Rabbi, I said, why don't you let me start this ride? It's just this like niche that I got involved in, and amazingly enough, I've been successful in it. So thank you. I started the Autism Awareness Ride 5 years ago. This is the 5th annual one that's going to happen. And I donate the money to Friendship Circle. So now that I'm back with Friendship Circle, we're owning the ride. We partner with Peterson Harley Davidson South.
Okay.
And we're going to be starting off there. Nice. And we ride to Gilbert's Resort in Key Largo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a police escorted ride. We have a great relationship with Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office.
Oh, and then have you met the new sheriff?
Of course. She's already come to our campus with their leadership team. So we gave them a tour a couple weeks ago. But great relationship. Wonderful. Rabbi Harlig is actually, he's a chaplain for the police department.
Does he have a motorcycle?
No, he does not. He wishes he did sometimes, I think. Actually, with all of this, I had never ridden a motorcycle. Between me starting these rides, now I own a slingshot. And so I not only run, put together the rides and organize them, but I also ride in them.
Of course.
So anyway, so it's a great ride. It's the largest autism awareness ride in the county. And it's going to be on the last Sunday. So if anyone has a motorcycle, a Jeep, that was the one thing. I, again, wanted to unite the community together. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to focus on, all of the opportunities that we could to grow the ride. So we have the motorcycles, we have the Jeeps, we have the slingshots, and we have custom trucks. Okay. We have a whole VW group that joins us with old
You need
bugs.
to add Corvettes.
Corvette. Custom cars. Hello. Corvettes, we'd love to have you. We all meet at Peterson's, and then the sheriff's office, the motors unit, takes us. They close down the turnpike.
Wow.
So sorry if you're on the turnpike.
Be aware.
In the morning, we're going to be
Don't get mad. It's for a great cause.
But it's awesome. I have to tell you, as we're riding down the closed turnpike, all the exits are stopped by the police officers, by the motors unit, and people are out there taking video. They're honking, they're waving.
I can imagine.
You're doing it for a good cause.
Of course.
So it's a $25 donation for every vehicle. However many wheels you have, wow. It's $25, and that 100% of that goes back to the Friendship Circle.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's a great idea. What else are you dreaming about? So I know.
I know, right?
You dream a lot.
I know.
Dreams are. I dream a lot too.
Yeah.
And somehow I feel like it's someone talking to me from up above.
Yeah.
Someone that loves you very much.
I meet with people and I listen, to them, and it just kind of sparks a thought or sparks an idea. And I love to just try to make things happen.
A quality that my mother had was listening. And I'm not a good listener. Mm-hmm. I'm learning to listen. And but it's a gift to be able to listen.
It is. And also be thoughtful, mm-hmm. And while you're listening, actually letting those thoughts kind of I guess mellow, and
settle in.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to future women entrepreneurs, women that want to join a foundation? What advice would you give them today?
When I would hire my staff at the American Cancer Society in particular, mm-hmm. I would get people that would apply for the position from all walks of life. And the fact that I came from education and had never fundraised, had never been in the nonprofit world. I didn't even honestly volunteer, when I was in school. Like it wasn't something that we did, when we were in school.
It's true. It wasn't even required.
It wasn't a requirement.
It was not a requirement.
And I didn't really like come from that type of background, where we would volunteer and stuff. So I always gave an opportunity to the people that I would hire on my staff, even though they didn't have a fundraising background. If you are somebody who has a heart, a servant heart is what they call it.
Servant heart.
Yeah. Okay. And you believe in your community and you want to make a difference. It's an opportunity, just take it. I mean, that for example, with the motorcycles, like it was an opportunity that I thought of during COVID. I came up with this idea of doing drive-through walks. That took off, and the American Cancer Society started doing, drive-through Relay for Lives and drive-through Making Strides, and because we couldn't be together, we could drive through,
right? That's
and
true.
we could provide, support and a connection,
still, right?
Like even though we were in our cars, we had survivors hanging out there, what is it, the
sunroof.
The sunroofs. In their survivor shirts, we were passing out medals, So I just say, I just think you just don't be scared, and I tell that to my kids all the time, just don't be scared, take it on. And I think that just comes from, my background with my parents, and they never told us we couldn't do something,
Right.
So I think that that's important.
It's
just
full circle.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Full circle.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed our talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping me with my foundation.
Oh, you're welcome.
We met a while back ago, and I said, Heather, I just got this foundation. I don't know what to do. And she met me at Starbucks and helped me out. Thank you for your advice.
You're welcome.
Your friendship. Thank you for being here. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate being here too.
Well, this is another Wonder Woman, and I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I hope you join me the next Thursday. I usually do it twice a month. I hope you join me next time. I want to thank the community newspaper, and I want to thank you for being here with me. This is Easter week, so I hope you have a wonderful Easter. And always remember to never give up on hope, and always, always believe. God bless you all, and thank you again.